All right. So, I did a live. I think that I'm gonna just start like recording and then posting the recordings, cause sometimes the lives be cutting up and all of that or whatever, and I really be wanting to get like certain points across to you guys, and not sound so scatterbrained sometimes. So, um, this is something new that I'm trying, but I really wanted to come on and just like, like give you guys some encouragement for the month of July. Really to get you guys to understand what is kind of going on in the atmosphere, get you guys to understand what type of things are affecting you, where you can kind of control things that you can control, but then understanding what's going on around you. Because I think it's very, very important for us to be able to understand these things so we know how to maneuver through everything that's going on right now. So, um, this is this is just me recording. This is just, you know what I'm saying, off the top of my head. This is essentially me journaling, but not, you know what I'm saying, writing. This is like a audio journal per se. Um, but I am sitting here and I'm going through like a old um journal, and I picked up this journal because I knew for a fact, and here it is. I knew for a fact that on September the 25th, 2018, I resigned from Apple. And I knew that when I had resigned from Apple, I created a plan. And I wanted to go back to this plan because I'm understanding that right now, the energy that is present with all the things that are going on, we have planets that are in retrograde. Um, we have a full moon eclipse coming up tomorrow in Capricorn, but also during Cancer season. And it's a lot. Mars and Aries. And I know that some of this shit probably don't, you people are probably like, what is she talking about? I know it sounds foreign, and I'm going to try to, break this stuff down for you guys in a way where it's easy to understand, just so that you're more aware. But I am going to definitely encourage you to take it upon yourself to look into these things for yourself to get a better understanding, because it's good that I can spark that into you, but it gets even better when you get to understand it for yourself, and you can kind of pick things that stand out for you that will help you, resonate with the energy a little bit different. So, we're going to start with the fact that there's a full moon in Capricorn that is tomorrow. And so, full moon in Capricorn, this energy is essentially about, first of all, it's really intense. Hold on, this is the wrong notes. I have notes on this. I'm just like so proud of myself for taking notes. But yeah, so Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is in retrograde right now. Saturn is about your authority and your maturity, right? How you've matured in situations, how you have, are you standing up for yourself? Are you like verbalizing the way that you need to be verbalizing, that type of thing? And then Capricorn rules bones and teeth. And I just like kind of learned that today. But that makes perfect sense. Capricorn rules the teeth and the bones. At the end of the day, what's left on us when we're out of here? When we're out of here, the bones are still left. The bones are what can identify us. So the bones, we have to think about the bones as like the structure. You know what I'm saying? So now we have this full moon that is taking a look at the structure of things, taking a look at where we are structure wise. And this is so good because this earlier this week, I went to my cousin's house, and he had, done some sketching, and he not only sketched a floor plan, but he sketched a what it would look like to build it per se. And it was amazing. And it brought me to like the fours. Everybody is seeing like 444, you know what I'm saying? Like the fours, the foundation of things, you know, building a solid ass foundation for whatever it is that you're trying to build. Like understanding that it's going to, this is how it has to look in order for it to be solid this way, you know what I'm saying? So we're understanding that right now there's a full moon, where the moon is at its brightest, but it's also, because it's so far up in the sky, it's not really showing a whole lot of light down. It's not illuminated like the sun is. When the sun is up, it's illuminated. But when the moon is out, the moon is there and it's giving off light, but it's not giving off a ton of light. So you can only kind of see things a little bit. That's why you're only able to see like your shadow when the moon is out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's only just a little bit of light reflecting off of, you know, whatever it is. So we got to think about it where this full moon is eclipse, which is like a super full moon. So it's like a full moon on steroids. You know what I'm saying? And then it's in Capricorn, and Capricorn is the structure of things. How is things structured for you? And so we're looking at what is the structure in what it is that we're creating. Okay, this is what I want, but what does it actually look like to get there? You know what I'm saying? Like this is my dream home, but what does my dream home actually look like when I'm drawing this out? And I've done that this week. I drew and I was like, is that something that people do? Do people drew? I was drawing. I was drawing, to say the least, which I never even knew that I knew how to draw. But I was drawing this week and I sketched out, you know, some different things, and I was really proud of myself because that came from the heart. It came from, you know, a place where there was passion put into it. And so I know that I'm going to receive that. I know that, you know, I'm going to be in a place where I'm going to be able to see that come into fruition because I know the energy and the intention that was placed into it. And we're having to understand that there's so much opportunity right now, and we have to make sure that with all this big energy, we have a full moon and that is illuminating different cracks and crevices where, you know, you thought you were good in certain situations, in the foundation of things, you know, relationships, friendships, whatever it is. You got all these lights that are shining. And not only that, this is in Capricorn, but Capricorn is ruled by by Saturn, and Saturn is in retrograde right now. So again, this is an extra bright ass light. Those police lights, and when they pull up on you and they shine a bright ass light, this is some police light ass shit shining in on, oh, what is the structure of your relationship look like? What does the structure of your business look like? People are upset because their businesses, you know, haven't gotten an SBA loan or any of that type of stuff or whatever, but they're asking to see that your business is a business. So if you don't have the documents to provide to show that your business is a business, then you need to be doing that. You can't be mad that the opportunity has come and you've missed that opportunity, but there's still more opportunity. So now go and do what you need to do so that you can be a part of this wave of things that's happening. Because on the outside of all the craziness that's happening around us, if you know how to work with the energy that's present right now, you're going to be able to be successful in maneuvering through all this stuff that's going on, where you're not distracted by what's going on, while you're not, you know, feeding into certain things or what people are saying or what people are doing. You're kind of like in your own world per se. And it's okay for you to be there because you are progressing forward. You're leveling up to a certain extent, you know, and so and we are leveling up, and not even to a certain extent, but we're leveling up, period, because we're still in Cancer, but we're going into Leo season, and Leo season is on the 22nd. So it's like we got like a couple weeks to kind of, you know what I'm saying, act like we don't know what's going on. But then when Leo season hits, think about that lion. You know what I'm saying? Think about that, the presence of a lion. You know, you see a lion, you feel a lion. You don't even have to, and the lion might creep up on you. But you have to be in a place where you are in that energy to be able to let your light, be seen without having to say something, be seen without just sitting on in the back of the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, your presence is felt. That is where we are right now. We're coming into an energy where we are coming into that part of us, that piece of us. We have to shine. We have to allow ourselves to shine. Things that spirit were saying to me this week are like, how often have you helped people rise up in the background? Now it's time for you to be on the forefront of all of the things that you've said to do. You're doing certain work that other people are not doing, and you're seeing, people be in relationships, or you're seeing, people doing traveling and doing all these different types of things that you want to do, but you're also knowing on the other side of it, it's not as beautiful as, they're claiming it to be. So what you're trying to do is create something that will be what you say it is, point blank, period. Like, we're not here to be sitting up here flexing for people. We're not here to be, giving false examples and false, we're not giving anything that's false. We're giving something that's authentic. We're living this life, and we're giving you, things are being given to you that you need to be able to survive right now, and to be able to not get caught up in everything that's going on. We have to be aware of what's going on around us, but we cannot get caught up in that. When you're grounded, and this is what this is about as well, nurturing, Cancer season, nurture yourself. What does your family environment look like? What does a true work environment look like for you? A relationship, what does a real intimate relationship look like for you? Like, I've been having conversations about, like, marriage. Like, is that something that you want to do? Or what is it that you ultimately, how do you want your situation with whomever it is that you're with, how do you really want that to pan out? How do you really want that to look? Do you want to just slap a wedding on it and just call it that, and we're married, this, that, and the third? Or is there something deeper that you want with your situation, to where it doesn't matter what title you put on it, if you're on the right path and that person's on the right path, and you guys are continually, holding yourselves accountable, continually communicating and getting to know and understand one another, continually putting forth effort into building a solid foundation of that relationship, it's going to go where you want it to go. But you have to be intentional behind it, and you have to be honest with yourself, and both people have to be honest with one another, so that y'all can create something that's either going to work, or you guys can, separate, and everybody gets what they deserve at the end. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's with another person, or, it comes back around. But we have to make sure that we're giving ourselves that first. And I'm knowing that there's so many, people that want to be in relationships and do certain things as far as relationship stuff is concerned. But it's like, it is an important time right now to feed all of those things into yourself. Even if you have an amazing relationship right now, if you have an amazing relationship right now, 9 times out of 10, you're giving yourself the time that you need. You are communicating the way that you need to be communicating. You are doing the things that need to be done for you to be in an authentic space where a relationship that you're in is fulfilling. And it's not even an intimate relationship, a friendship. Are we in friendships right now that are fulfilling on all ends? Do you have friends in your corner that you can call to get you out of jail for $200, $100, $97, $85, $50? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you surrounded by people that really have your best intentions at heart? Are you surrounded by people that are, going to give you information about yourself, or kind of to always turn you back to yourself? Are you around people that are going to equally give you what you're giving to them? Or are you around people that are constantly taking from you? Are you in situations, does your job completely deplete you? Where do you need to stand up for yourself at? This is about, we have some time in Pluto until October. So Pluto will be in retrograde until October. Pluto is about power and transformation. And it's like, you have time to be kind of, standing up and getting your power back, or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, like, don't prolong the process. Like, if you know that you need to be getting it together, you know that you need to be standing up for yourself, whatever the case may be, stop resisting, because that's the only thing that's stopping you from getting to where you need to be right now, is the fact that you're resisting. And if just let it go, let go of the control that you have over the situation, or the control that you're trying to put over the situation, you will be fine. If you allow yourself to just flow with what is happening and understand that if something that I said earlier today, if you'll know that you're in a healthy situation with someone, is if, say you're getting triggered by a person, right? Or a situation. If you're getting triggered by something, you have to take a moment to step back and look at that trigger. And you have to figure out, is this trigger coming from a place where this person is saying this to me to try to belittle me? Or is this person or thing saying this or doing this to me? Is this something that I'm experiencing to make me better? Or is this something that I'm experiencing that is, bringing me down even further, or trying to, bring me down to a certain extent? Because we have to start to understand how we're responding to when people tell us about ourselves. And this is a time where you're verbalizing how you feel. So you have to equally be able to understand that other people are going to verbalize how they feel as well. But you have discernment now, because a lot of us have been in relationships with narcissistic people. A lot of us have narcissistic parents and things of that nature. So we are trying to hear people's situations outside of that, trauma space. But we need to allow sometimes those wounds to be, we need for those band-aids to be ripped off, so that we can actually put some, ointment on this wound and get it healed the way that it's supposed to be healed. Nurture it, you know what I'm saying? Give it some air, all of that different type of stuff. We have to address this issue. We cannot keep a band-aid over it. Just like a lot of people are saying, we cannot continue to sweep family issues under the rug. It's the same thing. Just as much as we talking about our family can't keep, not addressing so-and-so for such and such, or whatever the case may be, at this point, you can't stop addressing yourself for the things that you're doing too. You're going to have to start taking ownership. And then, the beautiful thing is, if you're around the right people, your right tribe is going to tell you about yourself, but they're going to do it in a way in which that you're able to receive it. And so at the end of the day, you're going to either get the lesson or you're not going to get the lesson. And if you're not getting the lesson, you're going to start to see how more and more of your positive relationships are fading away. More and more of your healthy opportunities are not coming to you as much as they were, because you're going to see that ultimately you were the blockage in all of those situations. Not that there wasn't anything available, not that, this person wasn't, X, Y, and Z, or whatever the case may be. No, you have to turn it around and take ownership for your own things right now. And this is that big energy because, like I said, Mars is in Aries. So you pretty much got Suge Knight, which is Mars, and Floyd Mayweather, which is Aries, both kind of like riding you right now. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all all got this hype energy. Everybody ready to go. Everybody did you know what I'm saying? Everybody ready to throw them hands or whatever. But this is about making sure that you're reacting properly, making sure that when you're triggered by things, you're taking the time to take a moment to sit with it before you're reacting. Because again, we're in Cancer season until the 22nd. So Cancer is a water sign. Water signs, water is emotions. So we have to make sure that we are properly emoting. You know what I'm saying? We have to make sure that we are properly, like with my children, I have all these different mindfulness, activities that we do so that they are understanding how to express their emotions. Because at 3 years old, my son needs to know how to express his emotions going into this world that we live in, so that he can properly be in whatever type of situation to where he's not overreacting or underreacting, but he is seen, understood, and he is getting his point across, right? So I'm teaching him that now at 3 years old. My 9-year-old, teaching her how to handle different emotions going into different phases of her life. My 16-year-old teaching her how to deal with certain phases of herself and emotions and how to handle certain things as well, because they are going to different levels and I want them to be successful at every level with or without me. And it's important for them to learn those things now at a young age than for them to be in their 30s, their late 20s, you know what I'm saying? Even their late teens or early 20s, and they don't know how to control their emotions, especially now with all of this stuff that's going on. So we have to be aware of how we are expressing our emotions. Don't hide your emotions, but express them the right way, whether it's writing down first and then maybe verbalizing, or having people in your corner that you can actually verbalize to, because that's another thing. Being able to converse with people, that is very important. Mercury is in retrograde right now, which means that we are going to be having some distractions when it comes to conversations. We're going to be having some miscommunications. Somebody going to say something and it's not going to come off the right way. Prime example, there is something that Trump said that I know that, like, I know surprisingly I agreed with him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm knowing that listening to it from the perspective of, you know, some of the things that are going on right now or whatever, that he was out of pocket. You know, I'm sure people felt that way. So for me, it's like looking at things from a different perspective, looking at things from a different lens. I am now seeing things so much different. And I think that it's important that we are all learning how to express ourselves, speak up for ourselves, regardless of what we think other people are going to say, but being more intentional about the wording and how we are expressing ourselves, how we are, you know, reacting. One thing that Spirit said to me a couple weeks ago was like, you know, how do you expect for them to think that you've changed when you still react the same way? And not that you have to be, you know, proving change to anyone or anything, but if you want a different outcome, sometimes you have to react in a different way. Like they say, you get more flies with honey than vinegar. It's just like, we got to know how to maneuver through things, and we have to know how to use these energies to work in our favor. And so July is going to be a very intense energy month, but we know how to do this. Sit with yourself, take time with yourself, allow yourself some time. And one thing that, you know, I was watching Bahati Life, I was watching her YouTube, and she said something along the lines of like, you know, meditation doesn't have to look like, you know, just sitting down and listening to frequencies. That works for whomever it works for. For me, I'm cool with that. But I also like going outdoors. So something that I've been telling people, you know, this week, especially with all this energy that's going on, is go outside. Just get some fresh air, you know, sit outside, you know, eat outside, go for a walk, whatever the case may be. Just get you some fresh air, and get as much fresh air as you possibly can, because we're spending a lot of time indoors, and it's warm, it's hot, and it's that same, you got on the air conditioning, it's the same air that's circulating, you know. Just that's why it's also important to cleanse your space, cleanse your energy, you know. But just be mindful of what it is that you're intaking. Be mindful of things that you're putting into yourself, in your body. Be mindful of what you're, you know, looking at. Again, the energy is really heavy right now. So you guys have to make sure that you are not getting caught up in that energy. And being mindful of spending time outside, and being mindful of, you know, going for a walk, sitting by the lake, just giving yourself some time to just be in silence a little bit so that you can hear through what's going on. So yeah, it's pretty much all that I wanted to say for July. Leo season is going to be very lit. That's the 22nd. So be mindful of, you know, what you're saying, what you're asking for. And then something that really stood out with Jess's live, or her YouTube video was basically like, make sure that you're being intentional with like spending time with God, or divine, universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. Just setting an intention to be able to spend more time in a place where you can connect to the source and go back to the center, and really, really, get clarity, because I think that that's really important. Another thing that had been coming to me is detoxing. I am making my detox teas again, because I've seen that this is something that is like reoccurrent. It would be a good time to do a detox, because it is like the middle of the year. Kind of flush your system out and just start over new. So I'm definitely about to get on my detox stuff. I'll be posting some stuff that will help you guys with that. Also, making sure that you're just being more intentional with your intake. So what you're eating, how you're eating, just be mindful of what you're putting into your body. Also being mindful, like I said, of what you're liking on Instagram, on social media, what you're commenting on, what you're retweeting, what you're reposting. Being intentional by, the things that you just have on your timeline, even if it's something that you don't agree with, but it's your auntie or whatever the case may be, delete some of that stuff. Like, you don't really need that type of stuff, penetrating your aura, or you can mute those accounts, whatever the case may be. But just really make sure that you're getting into a place where you are truly protecting your energy space and protecting your aura. Let me see what else. There was something else that I wanted to oh, and another thing that I've been telling my friends is like, look at this as a time of like, this is a time of, we're at the airport. We were going to a destination, but we're having a layover, and the layover has been delayed AF. Like the layover is like, oh my God, when is this about to happen? And they just announced that the plane pulled in, and they are just unloading the plane, and they need to do some thorough maintenance, because it's been flying for a minute. They doing some thorough maintenance. They putting some new parts in, whatever the case may be. And then they're going to clean it, and then it'll be time to take off. So it's like your plane is at the gate, and now it's just going through a maintenance process to make sure that it is, suitable for you. It's fitting for you to get on this plane and get to your destination and have an amazing, time wherever you're going. So just make sure that you keep in mind that, the plane is here. Now we're just in a smaller waiting period until they clean this plane and they get it all nice and good for us and gassed up, and then we are off to our destination. So be gentle with yourselves. Allow yourselves, time with whatever it is that's coming up. If you are dealing with inner child things or whatever, express those things. Write it out. Talk it out. Make sure that you have people around you that you can share these type of things with, that that you are safe with, that your information is safe, and things of that nature. And just knowing that you can be free without, judgment or whatever the case may be. Just make sure that you are, sharing those things with someone, because you may be able to release in a way in which that, journaling may not have been successful, but it is very important to talk to someone. Therapy is very successful. I don't know if anybody has ever thought about it or has done it and stopped doing it. I know that there's a lot of way. I'm sure that, counselors are doing like virtual therapy and things of that nature. I would highly look into those type of things, just to be able to, again, keep your mind clear, because there's so much stuff going on just energetically in the atmosphere. And we're going to see that in our government system. We're going to see that with, things that are happening around us, and we just have to be mindful to not get caught up in all of that stuff. It may not be things that sit well with us. It may not be things that, make you feel comfortable. And it may, trigger you, but it's time to be strategic about what you are, reacting to, and how you're reacting to those things, and being mindful that the plane is here. So if you get too drunk at the airport, you might miss your flight. If you turn up, you know what I'm saying, or you fall asleep, or you're too sleepy, or whatever the case may be, you might miss, them telling us or whatever. Like if you decide to go into whatever city we in and try to, party and link up with whoever, whatever, like just make sure that you are being intentional enough to get your ass back to the airport before the plane take off, because if the plane take off, then who knows when it's coming back. That is the only thing. You know what I'm saying? So now you have nothing but space and opportunity to create whatever it is that you want. So create it, okay? All right. Use this week intentionally. This weekend, be intentional. Be mindful of what it is that you're saying. Love on the people that you love, and just be gentle with yourselves. Be kind with yourselves. Show yourself kindness so that you can show other people kindness, and just be light, It's no use to being anything else right now but being light. So just do that, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.